Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome back for another card video. In today's card, I'm using this Cora background stamp by Simon Says Stamp and my Little Bee heart dies. It's 11 die set and it's got some cross stitching in there as well, but I'm not going to be using that. I'm just using the heart dies. I'm going to ink up my background stamp with some Versamark ink. And then I'm going to stamp it onto some Strathmore 90-pound watercolor paper. It's my go-to paper, very favorite paper when I don't really care if it's a bright white. So I'm going to be covering the whole thing with watercolor, so I'm not too worried about it being just a little bit of an off-white color. All right, so now what I'm going to do is sprinkle it with some white embossing powder. You could also use clear, but I like the bright white look, and I will heat it to set it. Courtney decided she wanted to make an appearance in the video, so I said fine. So she's coming up here. There she is. It's summer, folks. Anyway, so I'm going to take some Zig Real Brush Clean Color markers. This is violet. It's just a really bright, pretty purple. And I'm just going to color this center portion of this background stamp. And it covers pretty easily, pretty quickly. And now I'm going to take the light violet, and you can see when I kind of got a little bit into that violet, it pulled the color out right away and started blending. But I wanted to make sure I definitely had a lot of that light violet, so I just decided to not put them together until the end. So now that I've gone all the way around with my light violet, I'm just going to make a quick round right at the border to blend these two colors together before I spritz it with some water. So I'm going to put quite a bit of water on here, and you can see how vibrant the color looks. And now I'm going to take an aqua painter, and I'm not really going to do anything except pull the light violet out further so that it kind of fades to white. So I just want to make sure that I get a little bit of color all the way. I'm going to be putting this underneath my heart die cut, so I just need to make sure that I extend this light violet out wide enough to cover the heart area. So I'm just going to go around here a couple times. This is all in real time, by the way. And now I'm going to put that off to the side to dry. I have a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch Fog cardstock by Simon Says Stamp. I'm going to put my heart kind of on the left side of that piece. And now I'm going to put that same die on a piece of white cardstock. I'm going to nest the next size down heart right in there. I'll take a piece of surgical tape, actually 2 pieces, and secure it into place so that I can run it through my Big Shot. So after I run it through, you'll see I can pick out that middle portion. And because my outside hearts were the same size, I can now fit this piece inside my Fog piece. So I'm going to flip it over. So here I'm looking at the back, and I'm going to take some surgical tape and I'm going to put these pieces together. I'm going to cover the whole entire thing all the way around to make sure there are no gaps. And that makes it really easy for me to kind of flip this over and adhere it as a single piece. Using this Cora background with the heart just made it seem so delicate, so I decided ribbon was a good thing to add to this card. So I'm using this silky ribbon. It's by Stampin' Up. It's long since retired, I think, but any, like a silky pretty white ribbon will work. So I'm going to adhere it on the right side. I'm just going to do it on the right side of this heart. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it so that it's completely against the edge of that heart. So it's going to face downward once it gets to the inside of the heart. And then I'll just put some more tape runner on the other side and then press it down. And mine was a little bit too long, so I just cut it off with a scissor. And the ATG tape runner keeps this ribbon in place really well. I didn't want to make a big bulky bow with this ribbon, so I'm going to take a piece of linen thread and I'm going to tie a bow around this white ribbon. So I'm going to thread it under the bottom here, and when I try to make my first knot, I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of push the sides in because I want it to bubble up in the middle, and I want it to have just kind of a nice pleating when I pull it together with this linen thread, so it looks nice and even. So now this linen thread's really easy to tie, so it stays in place with that first knot while I tie my bow. I just kind of moved it around until I got it the way I wanted it, and now I will trim off the tails. And now I'm ready to do my sentiment, which is going to be a really simple word. It's just friend from this Thoughtful Messages set by Simon Says Stamp. And I put it in my MISTI. I inked it up with some Hero Arts black ink. And I should have done this before I put that twine on there because it just keeps getting in the way, so I just kind of went back and forth, and finally I got it to stay down, and I stamped my little sentiment there. Okay, so now I'm going to figure out where I'm going to place this on the watercolor background, and I'm going to draw some outlines on the outside here so I know where to trim it back. So I'm going to trim it right on the inside of all of those pencil lines. And I'm going to cover this with Scotch foam. I want you to notice that I put a piece right there at the tip of the heart, because otherwise that little tip will sag and it's not going to look good. So you want to make sure you have some Scotch foam tape under there. And then I'll flip this over, put some ATG tape runner on the back, and adhere it to an A2 size Neenah Solar White card base. I'm going to add one more detail. There's this set of pearls that Stampin' Up! Sells. I think they still sell them. I'm going to put a medium-sized pearl in the middle of the heart, and then I'm going to take a small little pearl and put it on the top of my bow, just to add some pretty kind of delicate detail. And that is the card for today. It was actually pretty easy. The watercolor was almost too easy. I just did a little bit of spreading and just let the water do the work. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.